Good morning. Welcome to Kids Crossing. I'm so glad you're here with us today. It's a special day for me too because my brother and his family are visiting us. He lives far away and we don't get to see each other very much. Even though we don't see each other a lot, we have always stayed in touch. We have a lot in common and love to talk about things like fishing and collectible cars. We have a very good relationship. But when we were young, we did not always get along. There were times that we drove our mom crazy with our fighting. Our story today is about some brothers, and one of the brothers was named Joseph. And it is fair to say that his brothers hated him. They treated him very badly, but God taught Joseph some very important things through all the bad things that happened to him. His life reminds me of what Romans chapter 8 verse 28 says, "For those who love God, all things work together for good." God has promised to be our deliverer, but it does not mean that things will always be easy. I know you'll be encouraged by the story of Joseph, but first, why don't you visit with Miss Lisa?
Hello, I have a picture to show you. This is a picture of my two sons, Matt and Dan, when they were young. I love this photo because it shows how much they love each other. Now, there were times that they fought and got mad at each other, like all siblings, but for the most part, they really got along quite well. How many of you have siblings? I had two younger brothers. Now, they were quite a bit younger than I, so I did not always like having them around. They got into my stuff sometimes, and I did not like that. I thought Shiloh might have some ideas to share with us about getting along with siblings since he has a very large family. Shiloh, are you ready to talk to the children? I thought he told me he was going to be inside this box. I'll knock again. Shiloh, we're here at Kids Crossing. Are you ready? I don't know what's going on. I'm just going to open up the box and see if I can find him. Okay, Shiloh. Shiloh, you're not supposed to be playing video games. I told you we were coming to Kids Crossing to see the children today. Okay, boys and girls, would you help me, please? We'll count to 3 together. And Shiloh, if you don't come out by the time we get to 3, I will unplug your TV. Okay, ready? Let's count. 1, 2, 3. What? There we go. That's better. Why were you playing video games? You were trying to hide from your 276 brothers and sisters. I see. Well, I am sure that having that many in your family can get overwhelming. Our story today is about Joseph and his brothers. No, Joseph did not have 276 brothers and sisters. He did have 11 brothers, though. Yes, that is still a lot of brothers. But Joseph's brothers did not like him at all. No, it was not because he was better at video games, but they were jealous of him because of some of the dreams that he had. You had a dream about carrot stew. Very interesting, but that's not what Joseph was dreaming about. Yes, we're going to hear more about the story from Miss Susan, but I will say that Joseph ended up having a lot of bad things happen to him. You want to give the children some clues about some of the things that happened to Joseph? Well, that sounds like fun. What do you have? Oh, this is a robe. It's not a robe? Well, it looks like a robe to me. Oh, it's your comfy blanket with sleeves. Well, in the story, there is a colorful robe. You have another clue? Okay, What else? Oh, a chain. Another good clue. I think the boys and girls will be able to guess what the chain refers to when they hear the story. What else do you have? Oh, a frown. Well, it is very true that in our story, some very sad things happened. Oh. But yes, in the end, there was a happy ending. And God showed how everything can indeed work together for good. Yes, Janitor Bob told us that Bible verse at the beginning of the show. It's a good one to remember. But we should also remember that sometimes the end result is different from what we may have imagined. Yes, it is not always easy, but God will always be with us. Oh, you're feeling like you want to spend some time with your brothers and sisters again? That's good to hear, Shiloh. You enjoy the story that Miss Susan has.
Joseph's brothers were jealous. When you let jealousy consume your life, it can grow into hate, and hate can make you do bad things. Let's listen to Miss Susan tell us the story and see what happened to Joseph and his brothers.
Good morning, everyone. I hope you are having a wonderful day. I have a new sweater on today. I love it. It is a gift from my aunt. Look, it has giraffes on it. Isn't it a great sweater? Do you have any special clothes that you love to wear? Maybe a favorite shirt or a favorite coat that you like to wear? When I was growing up, this jean jacket was my favorite. I wore it everywhere. Now it just hangs in the back of my closet, but I don't want to get rid of it because of all the memories I have from wearing it. Today, for our Bible story, I want to tell you about a person in the Bible who had a special coat. It was actually a coat of many colors. Do you know who I am talking about? That's right. I am talking about Joseph. You can read about him in the Bible in Genesis. He was a real person. He is the son of Jacob. Do you remember Abraham? Abraham had a son named Isaac, and Isaac had twin sons, Jacob and Esau. Jacob was the father of Joseph. Actually, Jacob had 12 sons, so Joseph had 11 brothers. Look, that is a lot of brothers. Would you want to have 11 brothers? Janitor Bob today talked about how he and his brother fought when they were little. I know that my 4 boys fight sometimes too. Can you imagine how 12 brothers might fight? I bet they were always getting into trouble. The Bible tells us that Joseph and his brothers did not get along. Joseph's brothers were jealous. Jacob loved Joseph more than all of his brothers, and he gave him a special coat of many colors. Here is Joseph, and here is this coat of many colors that I made for him. Joseph's brothers were very jealous because Jacob had given Joseph this special coat. Have you ever been jealous? Maybe your sister or brother got a new toy and you wanted one too? Maybe you were jealous because they got to do something special and you did not. Well, Joseph's brothers were jealous, and the more they thought about it, the more jealous they became. Then Joseph had 2 dreams. In the first dream, Joseph's bundle of grain stood up straight, and his brothers' bundles of grain, they all bowed down to his. Then in the second dream, Joseph dreamt that the sun and the moon and the 11 stars all bowed down to him. This made Joseph's brothers even more mad. They got so mad that they took Joseph's coat of many colors and then they threw him into a deep pit. They were going to kill Joseph, but instead, they sold him to some people traveling by. Joseph lost his coat. He was sold for 20 pieces of silver, separated from his family, and ended up being a servant at Potiphar's house in Egypt. Joseph worked hard and was a good servant. But then Potiphar's wife lied about him, and Joseph got sent to jail. Joseph went from being his father's favorite son with the coat of many colors to being in jail for something he didn't do. That is awful. How do you think Joseph was feeling? Do you think he was mad, sad, scared? Probably. But God didn't forget about him. Eventually, God brought him out of jail and made him second in command under Pharaoh. We will learn more about how God rescued Joseph in the next few weeks. Joseph traded in his old dirty clothes for royal robes. How amazing is that? In the end, Joseph's dreams really did come true. His brothers came to Egypt and they bowed down before him. They did not recognize him right away, but Joseph forgave his brothers and helped them. God used all the bad things in Joseph's life to make him a good ruler who would be able to save many people. I'm sure that when Joseph had his dreams and his coat of many colors, he had no idea what the rest of his life was going to be like. But through it all, he trusted God, and he worked hard to do the things the way God wanted him to do them. Our Bible verse for today is Romans 8:28. For those who love God, all things work together for good. No matter how bad things may seem in our life, we need to trust God that he has a plan and that he can make good come out of any bad situation, just like he did with Joseph. That reminds me of a song. This is a song that I love to sing with my boys. You might know it too. It is called My God is So Great. You can sing it with me. My God is so great, so strong and so mighty, there's nothing my God cannot do. My God is so great, so strong and so mighty, there's nothing my God cannot do. The mountains are his, the rivers are his, the stars are his handiwork too. My God is so great, so strong and so mighty, there's nothing my God cannot do for you. Great job! Thanks for singing with me. We have such a wonderful, loving God who can do mighty things. And just like he used the bad things in Joseph's life for good, he can do that for us too. This week, if you have something that goes wrong, remember Joseph and how God was with him. And remember, God is with you too.
God used Joseph to save a lot of people, and God can use you too. You don't have to be a big or strong. God has given you special talents and made you just the way you are for a purpose. He has a plan for your life.
Hello there! Now it's time for Fun with Felix! Hey, do you know where the teacher was when the lights went out? In the dark! Bet you didn't guess that one. But speaking of the dark, I have some questions about a parable that Jesus told about a road that was very dangerous to travel on, especially in the dark. The parable was called the Good Samaritan. If you have heard this story, you might know the answers, but I am going to try to guess too. Ready? I am. First question. In this story, the man needed help because he lost his map, ate too much, or was beaten up. Well, if he was traveling on a dangerous road, maybe he lost his map. Oh, fiddlesticks. Wait, now I remember. He got attacked by some robbers and was beaten up. That's right. Next question is a true or false question. The priest and Levite both stopped to ask the man if they could help him. I would think that people who worked in a church would want to help someone who was hurt, so I say true. Oh, fuddy-duddy, I can't believe it. I wonder why they refused to help him. Maybe next time we'll find out some more about this parable. See ya then!
Hey everyone! Today I want to show you my son's toy boat. The problem with his boat, though, is that it sinks really easily. See? You know, would you want to be in that boat out on the ocean? I wouldn't. It's actually a pretty bad boat. But you know what? Today we are learning about how God takes bad things and He uses them for the good of His people, you and me. Did you know there are people who take bad boats that are too old or outdated or unsafe like this one, and they put them in the ocean and sink them on purpose? You see, sinking boats aren't usually good, but these people do it for a reason, because a sunken boat provides a lot of safety for the fish in the ocean, and it provides a place for all sorts of corals and clams and mussels and barnacles to live. A sinking ship is bad, but some people turn it into something good, a new home and a habitat for fish and coral. Well, something bad happened to Joseph in our story today, real bad. It wasn't a lot of fun. He definitely didn't get a new home like the fishes did. He got kicked out of his home. His brothers sold him as a slave to another country. Yikes! But as we will learn in the next couple of weeks, God used the bad for the good. And Joseph, even though he was sold as a slave, he would be great and he would help a lot of people. God turns the bad into good. And you know what? He loves doing that. Take the cross, for example. We like crosses, but they used to be something scary. They used to kill people on them. They'd nail them up there till they died. So why do we have them in our houses and churches? Well, because God took something bad and He turned it into something good. He sent Jesus, true God, true man, to die on the cross, and that isn't good. He was an innocent man, and He got tortured and He got killed, but God used it to help a lot of people, even you and me, because Jesus rose from the dead and He won for us salvation, so we can go and be with Him forever. And we put crosses around to help us remember that, even when bad things happen to us, even when we get sick, even when we get hurt, when people make fun of us, people leave us, when any of those bad things happen in this world, we can know that God will work it for our good. And He already has. He's forgiven us, and He's promised us eternal life, and He will bring us with Him to heaven. And that's good. And all those who believe in Jesus will be there, even Joseph, who we hear about today. And there won't be any more bad things ever again. And you know what? I'll see you there. So have a good day, knowing God gives us good things, even if it doesn't look like it at the time. Bye now.
Sing a song of joy. Sing
For many of you, school has started or will be starting soon. Sometimes starting a new school year can be scary. Remember that God is with you wherever you go, just like He was with Joseph. So if you are nervous or scared, you can talk to God. You can say a prayer or sing a song, and He's always ready to listen to you.
Hello everyone, I'm Nurse Stacy, and I work as the parish nurse at the church today. I'm not only a nurse, but I'm also a wife, a mother to 3 kids, a daughter, and I'm also a sister. I have an older sister and a younger brother. Being part of a family can be a lot of fun, but sometimes it can be really frustrating, and it seems like someone is getting more attention than you. It can be difficult to remember that we love the people in our families when the jealous thoughts start bubbling over and make us sad, or even sometimes we get mad. Being jealous is an emotion that can bring negative thoughts into our minds. It is like a little monster that keeps us from feeling joy and happiness. What are some of the ways that we can change how we are feeling? If you are having a bad or jealous thought about someone, you could try and think of 5 things you like about that person. Think about things like when they did something kind to you, or how they have a nice smile. If the feelings are too much, you should share what you're feeling with your mom, dad, teacher, or maybe a different sibling, and see if they have any good advice. But a great way to change your outlook is to get up and exercise. So let's stand up and move those legs. When we exercise, our bodies release a chemical called endorphins. Can you say that big word? Endorphins. Endorphins work in your brain to give you a happy feeling or emotion. You could go for a walk or do some jumping jacks. Maybe see if someone wants to play catch. It is important to throw the bad feelings or stress out of our lives so we don't make bad choices to hurt someone, like Joseph's brothers did in today's lesson. Let's pretend to throw a big ball 10 times. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. Doesn't that feel good to move your arms? Think of all those endorphins pumping through your body, helping planting seeds of joy and happiness into our hearts and into our minds. Pretend to plant a seed of happiness by your toes and take a deep breath and feel that joy come up over your body, all the way from the toes to the top of your head. Let's plant a couple more seeds. Plant the seeds at your feet and reach up to the sky. One more time. Plant the happy and joyful seed at your toes and feel the happiness go through your body and push out all the sad and bad feelings. Now let's stretch our arms out to the sides and do some circles. Happiness can start out really small, but if we concentrate on happy thoughts and not on bad thoughts, the joy and happiness will get bigger and bigger. Make bigger and bigger arm circles. Now let's stretch out again and do small circles of happiness. And think about how nice it is to have the friends we have and how grateful we are for the beautiful world that God gives us. You can always think about how much Jesus loves you, and that should make your joy circles huge. Remember this week to get your endorphins releasing happy thoughts into your mind and get up and moving for 60 minutes every day and make healthy choices.
In our story today, Joseph and his brothers did not get along. Joseph's brothers hated him so much that they made a plan to get rid of him. They took his coat of many colors and sold him into slavery in Egypt. But the story didn't end there. God used all the bad things in Joseph's life for good. And in the end, Joseph and his brothers forgave each other and became friends. Our Bible verse today is from Romans chapter 8, verse 28, and it says, "For those who love God, all things work together for good." Oh, there's no problem that is too big for God to handle. He can make good come out of every bad situation. And when you face a scary situation, remember that God is always with you. And thank you for joining us today at Kids Crossing. And please join us again next week on this same channel. And remember that Jesus loves you, and He is always with you.
Yeah.